Hello, we are back.
Sir,
I'm Isaiah. This is Jake. This is the To the Hoop podcast. It's been a while. How are you?
I'm doing good, man. I am living life again after some sickness, some health issues. But yeah, man, we're back. Some health issues, some weather issues,
A lot of
a
weather
lot of weather
issues.
issues.
Indiana.
Yeah,
Living in Indiana is not the easiest to commute
no, man.
around through the winter. So I'm glad it's finally March and it's 60 degrees outside.
Yeah, man, we're back. We're
Nice.
back.
All right. We got a video that I think speaks volumes. I want to know what your thought process is on it. We're going to roll it so you guys can see it right now.
Kobe Jordan, oh, he's not this, he's not that. That is propaganda. Every great player, whether that's Ant, Wemby, Bron, Steph, this, that, they compare him to 40 years ago. The rules weren't even the same.
Okay, so what are you thinking about that?
Yeah, man. I really like what he has to say because like it's the truth because it's like if you are at your certain level of greatness, because we can't take guys like Ant and take his greatness away from him. We can't take guys like Steph and LeBron and be like they're not they're not as great as this person because they're their own player.
Right.
And so I think when you constantly compare what the level of greatness that someone is at today to the level of greatness that someone was at back in the day, it kind of like invalidates the greatness of what is currently happening.
It's weird because it's kind of like he says in the video, it's not the same game.
It's not.
It's not remotely the same game.
No.
So like I understand keeping stats, I understand keeping records. I get it. But like we're making comparisons that don't exist anymore. Like I know like I hear a lot of comparisons about like Giannis, like with him not being a traditional big. And it's like, who's a traditional big?
Yeah.
Now, there's like 3 traditional bigs in the league.
Mm-hmm.
So like why do we care? But I do feel like that makes it really bad for the new and upcoming players on being the face of the league.
Mm-hmm.
Because like did you hear Ant's comments about him not wanting to be the face of the league? He's like, yeah, I'm not really about that. And even LeBron kind of echoed like, I see it. I can see why he doesn't want to do it. He's like, this is a lot of pressure. You got a lot of this and that you have to deal with every single day being the face of the league. And it's all the comparisons. It's all everyone's gonna hate you all the time.
Yeah.
So like I can kind of understand why a lot of younger players don't want to do that.
Mm-hmm.
But the issue is that we need one.
Yeah.
LeBron has done a excellent job. I'm not the biggest fan of LeBron James at all, but I can definitely respect the talent and respect the man, and he's been a great face of the league.
Oh yeah.
I think so.
Oh,
I
yeah.
think he has put the league, as far as like the media and like personality part of it, on his back for a while.
100%, yeah.
Who do you think after the LeBron, the KDs, the Stephs are gone, who do you think is going to be the face of the league?
I think there's a lot of solid options. You got to start with Luka. I think that's a big one.
Start with Luka.
I do.
Why?
Okay.
I'm a huge Luka fan.
Yeah.
Start with Luka.
I think you got to start with Luka. LeBron is on the tail end of his career. I think if he wanted to, he could play. He could probably play another decade the way he's playing right now. You know what I mean? And at the very least, be serviceable. But I don't see that happening, especially with him being able to make money in other avenues, living in Los Angeles.
I give him the year, maybe 2 years.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah. And so who's going to be next in line? Well, there's somebody already on the Lakers.
Okay.
The Lakers have a reputation for having great players.
The Los Angeles Lucas.
Yeah, man. I'd say Luka with the rapport and the background that he already had in Dallas, that he already built for himself, and then translating that to Los Angeles in a big market, I don't know. I think you got to start with Luka.
I think so. Do you think that's going to be weird to have? I know with the Court of Gold Netflix doc coming out, and a lot of things about like the Redeem Team and Team USA has been like a really big topic this past year or so with the Olympics.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think that having a overseas player as a face of the league is going to be a good thing for the league?
I mean,
I think that
Jokic
a lot of the top players right now
are
are
overseas.
foreign players.
Yeah.
So
Yep.
I
Jokic,
can completely
Wemby.
see one of them deserving it.
Yeah.
But that will be kind of the first time that the face of the league is from somewhere else.
Yeah. That's a really good point. Yeah. And another player that's from overseas, Wembanyama. That's another potential face of the league.
Yeah, we gotta see how he is.
Yeah, health wise.
Coming back health
That is
wise.
a serious thing.
I think he could be plus he's a nice kid too. You know, like Luka is too. You know, I can't take anything away from Luka. He's not really, hookah and beer. So
yeah.
But there's no reason to trade him. But but like Wemby is like, I play chess and read books before games. And you know what I mean? He's like the ideal like candidate for one of those. I think Tatum will be good. A lot of people give Tatum a lot of crap, dude. I like Jason Tatum. I do. As a Laker fan, I enjoy watching Jason Tatum.
That's something as a Lakers fan, yeah.
Jason Tatum, obviously, I think he needs to do a little less of like the cornball stuff.
Yeah.
You know, like
for sure.
I think Jason Tatum does a lot of corn.
Yeah.
But like to flip that, he has a ring.
Yeah.
He's on a really successful team, and he's a driving force.
Yeah, absolutely.
He's not a bad player. He has some bad games, but doesn't everybody?
Mm-hmm.
I think he's a complete player. He can shoot the three really well. Great mid-range shooter, athletic, good defender, and I mean when he first came in the league, had one of the best hairlines in the league.
Yeah, man. Right? Yeah,
he had the second best NBA hairline besides Jalen Rose.
That's factual. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So like, I don't see why Tatum can't be if he can make his own personality.
Yep, that's the force right there.
If he can make his own personality, I don't see why Tatum couldn't be.
Mm-hmm. I think that is my whole issue with Tatum. Tatum has the reputation. He has the skill set. Mm-hmm. He has the accolades to be the face of the franchise or to be the face of the league. My issue with Jason Tatum is that it feels like he is still trying to build his own brand off of other people.
Yes.
Right?
Yes, I agree with that.
That is, and you don't have to do that anymore. You don't have to. We know the type of player that you are, so build your own brand.
Yeah.
And
sidestep.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, man, build your own brand. And I don't know if you had seen Colin Cowherd. I'm so sorry if I'm saying your name wrong. But he has his own radio show and podcast and stuff. And he made a comment just a week ago or a couple weeks ago saying that he's like, there are certain iconic players that when you close your eyes, you can think about iconic moments that they had as individuals. And you can see those things in your mind. And he said, when I close my eyes and think about Jason Tatum, I don't see it.
Yeah.
Right? And after he said that, I was like, you know what?
But is that because he tries so hard to make everyone else's moments his moments?
Yeah.
Like, if he won that title and did something that was authentically Jason Tatum, I think it would be a different story.
100%.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But I think he tried so hard to be everyone else. You know, he tried so hard to do so many different iconic things.
Yeah.
That it kind of like blankets, like, oh, where did that come from? Oh, that came from KG. Oh, that came from Kanye. Oh, that came from, so like you don't really associate that with Tatum.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, man. I think he also has a lot of like it's just the cornball moments. You know, it's just the other night when they're playing the Cavs and him and Jaylen Brown, they're up like 20 and they're like, and then they lose the game. It's
Yeah.
like, come on, dog, you can't do stuff like that.
Yeah.
And so I think if he can reel that in, which I think will come with age,
For
I
sure.
think he would be a good face of the league. But I do love Luka as an idea for face of the league. I would vote. I'd probably vote Wemby, to be honest with you. I love Luka, and if Luka,
I think you're trying to be
Luka,
unbiased, man.
I am trying to be.
You're
very
trying to be
unbiased
unbiased because you're a Lakers fan, bro.
But like,
Luka,
but
man.
also, I think Wemby's just like he's the perfect like poster child.
Yeah,
you know,
I
and that's
agree.
what you want. That's
For
what
sure.
LeBron was.
Mm-hmm.
LeBron was the perfect poster child.
Mm-hmm.
He did everything right off the court, essentially.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You never really hear anything about LeBron being in too much drama.
Yeah.
That's how Wemby is. Wemby is the perfect off-court guy.
100%.
I think Ant would be a really good option.
Yeah.
But like Ant gets into some off-court stuff, but then he also has that like grittiness on court that I think would be great for a face of the league.
Mm-hmm.
It's just going to be how he progresses as far as success goes. Because you can't be a face of the league with no rings. That's another thing. And that's another why I have like the bid for Tatum, where it's like Tatum he's been there. He's done it.
That's a good point. Yeah.
One thing we don't need is like a Ja Morant, right? Like we don't need Ja.
No. Yeah.
And see, that's where Ant kind of falls with me too. Is like they both have like YN energy, you know, and it's like I don't know if I need that to be a representation of the NBA.
I agree, man.
Did you have anybody else in mind?
I didn't really, but the last thing that I want to say on the topic of Luka possibly being the face of the league is that I agree with you. I think rings do matter. However, LeBron was the face of the league before he had even won a ring.
That's true.
And so my thing is, I think so. I think coming into the league, he was supposed to be like the next prodigy, right?
He was supposed to be the next face of the league.
Right. And I think that because of that, there was so much hype surrounding him. He was getting, to kind of propel him into the face of the league. And I feel like Luka has that. He has that factor. He has the factor of we're pushing him. I think as soon as Luka wins that first ring, if he can do it, that first ring is all that it takes.
Don't worry. Luka wins that first ring. We will both be on the podcast in Luka jerseys. Okay, that was a deal that we just made at this exact second.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I think I like Luka a lot, and I like Luka as a face. I would love to see him be the face of the league. He also kind of whines a lot.
He does,
which is something that like LeBron did too. So I guess I can't completely take that away from him, but I don't think LeBron whined as much early on.
Yeah.
You know, like first stint Cavs LeBron kind of just went and hooped. He kind of just went out there and hooped. But also, do these guys want to take on that role? You know, like I know Ant already said he doesn't. I think Wemby would be good with taking on that role because there's not a lot of players that, you know, we're not going to sit and compare Wemby to somebody 40 years ago.
Right.
I think the closest thing that they'll compare Wemby to is like KD, which I'm okay. I'm okay with that as Wemby progresses through his career. But I don't think we're going to hear a lot of like, yeah, Wemby did this. But Jordan,
right?
You know what I mean? It's like they're not the same player at all. I think that a lot of the bigger names that have been face of the leagues, the Kobes, the Jordans, LeBron, even to a degree, kind of fit an archetype. To whereas Wemby doesn't really fit that archetype at all. So hopefully, I think another sleeper player, and it's just I can't even really say it's because they're number one. SGA,
100%.
I think he's just too quiet.
Yeah,
he's just too quiet. I think that's his only problem with that takes him out of being like a face of the league. He doesn't really say much in like a lot of interviews. There aren't like outside of him being on the court, there aren't a lot of like iconic SGA moments. You know what I mean? Like, which is a good thing that he's on the court and doing what he's supposed to do. But like at the same token, like I kind of want a little bit more of his personality.
Yeah.
to show. I think that was a big thing with Bron. Was Bron had a personality.
Mm-hmm.
So like people liked LeBron for his person.
Yeah.
And his game. To whereas SGA, you kind of just know his game.
Yeah.
Like you don't really see a lot of him outside of off the court.
Mm-hmm.
So I think he would be another option, but maybe it's the same thing as Tatum. Maybe he just needs to develop that personality.
Yeah. Or I think it could with SGA even be like a Kawhi factor, right?
Oh, where he's just a quiet
Yeah,
guy.
where he's just a quiet guy, and Kawhi has just he's built his whole persona off of just winning on the court solely.
And that laugh.
Kawhi and the laugh.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. Kawhi like has little to no personality, quiet dude. He just shows up and does what he has to do, and he goes home. And that might just be how SGA is.
Maybe, yeah.
And maybe he might build his persona off of just winning. And we'll see. Time will tell.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I think next I wanted to hear your take. Obviously, weather, sickness. We've been out for a little bit, but we did have something past the All-Star weekend.
Yeah, man.
What was your take on the All-Star weekend? I think it was 3 hours of television for 30 minutes of play time. I think was what it all ended up being.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm so happy we're talking about this, man, because the format was trash. I really thought the format was trash this year. Okay, the amount of commercials that I had to sit through, the amount of...
Oh, you watched the game?
Oh, I watched some of the game.
Oh,
yeah,
okay. I didn't even watch the game.
Yeah, and look, man,
wow.
I don't blame you. You didn't miss much, okay? You did not miss much. The amount of commercials that occurred, the amount of Kevin Hart commentating throughout the games, okay? The amount of Kevin Hart sound bites that I heard was completely unnecessary. Didn't need that. The amount of Shaq just having his off filter, just his moments. Don't get me wrong. Fantastic during halftime. I love listening to Shaq during halftime. Yeah. I don't want to hear Shaq saying some off the wall stuff during the game. Okay. The playing up to 40, I thought might make it a little bit more interesting and more competitive. It didn't really do much. Yeah, man, I just was not a fan of the All-Star game itself.
So I have a couple ideas on that All-Star game.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't watch the game personally, but I did watch a lot of the highlights and a lot of the recaps. Mm-hmm. The G League team should have played a lot harder to win those games.
Yeah.
Because I think that, like we were saying before, a big problem with the All-Star game is just the pride in being an All-Star. It's just the players. There's nothing you can really do. That I don't think there's any format change. Honestly, we could go back to East-West, and we're going to have the same problem.
Yeah.
I think those G League players could have got on the court if they would have played hard, and they would have forced the other team to play.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? If they win that first game, if they go into that championship game, you either force the other team to play by playing hard, or they're down 20-6, and then they're like, oh, wait, we got to actually start playing. But by that time, it's too late. The G League team wins All-Star Weekend, and then then it becomes a different narrative, right? Then it becomes a narrative of like, hey, what are these guys doing? We got G League players coming out. By the way, shout out to the G League. Sorry, I always remember.
Yeah, it's the D League. It was the D League,
the Development League. I love that. Mac McClung has single-handedly brought the dunk contest back again for the third year in a row. I think the first round we had a guy not make a dunk from the Bulls. I don't think the Bucks guy made a dunk either, or maybe he attempted, but he made an okay one. Was that Castle? Was that Stephon Castle? He had a solid dunk, and then Mac McClung jumped over a car, and they should have cut the dunk contest right there. They should have been like, "Hey, you know what? There's absolutely nothing that any of you guys are about to do that's going to top that."
Yep.
Right? Imagine jumping over a car in the first round of the dunk contest. That's some 2K. Yeah. That's some oh, you know what? I already did these. I'll do the call. And this wasn't like the Blake Griffin over the hood, right? He jumped over the middle of the car. Yeah, they should have cut that. They should have cut it right there. They should have been like, you know what, guys, y'all are done. But I did see after the fact, you had Ja, you had Aaron Gordon, you had Levine, you had Giannis, who all were tweeting back and forth at each other like, hey, he just made me want to go do this. He made me want to do this again. They're like, hey, you got one more, I got one more. So hopefully next year we get some stars back.
Mm-hmm.
And that'll be great.
Mm-hmm.
That'll be great. I hope Mac does it one more time to defend against the stars. But at a certain point, he's kind of done so much in the 3 dunk contests he's won that he's going to have to do continuous over-the-top type of stuff, which is what you want in the dunk contest. But it's going to be a lot harder for him to think of it again for a 4th time.
Yeah, man. That man's going to have to jump through flames or something at this point.
He's going to have to do something ridiculous.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I think that'll be cool. So hopefully he brings something back. With the actual game itself, I think that if the G League team would have got to that championship game, it would have forced the other players, which would have been great. Also, to touch on the All-Star weekend, LeBron James. I know I just gave LeBron James a lot of credit, and I do like LeBron James, the man, but LeBron James might have just ruined the All-Star.
Mm-hmm.
So do you remember a couple years ago? I guess not a couple. It's probably years ago at this point, where everyone was putting in money to get LeBron to do the dunk contest. Do you remember that? Everyone's like, "Oh, I'll put him just for him to be in it, not to win, just to do the dunk contest." And then he didn't do it. He didn't do it. And then after that point, it feels like a lot of the star players stopped being in the dunk contest. He just did the same thing with the actual game.
Yeah, man.
He goes, hey, you know what? My ankle hurts, and we're trying to make a playoff push, so I'm going to back out of the game. Day of, which is crazy. He just wanted to get the All-Star nod. Bron, you still would have got the All-Star nod. No, they gave D-Wade an All-Star nod when he didn't even make the team this last year. They would have gave you the All-Star nod to LeBron James. But he could have backed out on Friday and let them replace him, because I'm sure they could have called a Sabonis. They could have called De'Aaron Fox. You know what I mean? There are a lot of guys who got snubbed who deserved that spot that he just took and goes, oh, yeah, you know what? I'm actually not going to play. So with that being said, I can see a lot of players in the next coming years doing that same thing. I can see KD. I can see Giannis. I can see Steph going, hey, we're in a weird spot. We're trying to make a playoff push. I'm going to back out of the All-Star game. Now you have an All-Star game without LeBron, without KD, without Giannis, without Steph. What is this? You know? There are a lot of players who follow LeBron's lead. And with him being the face of the league, he is a leader in that resort. So, like, him doing that was insane. Not to mention, as a Lakers fan, don't worry, I did my homework. We came out and lost the very first game we played after All-Star weekend to the Hornets. We lost to a 15-point Hornets comeback. Yeah.
It's that Mark Williams curse, man.
Yeah, apparently. It's LeBron's playoff mode activating.
Yeah.
Is what that was.
Yeah, man.
But, yeah, I mean, I think that was just it was a weak move. And I think that might set a precedent for the coming future. What do you think about that?
Yeah, 100%. I have another buddy of mine who's a Lakers fan, and he said that move made him lose all the respect he had left for LeBron.
Okay.
And I'm kind of with
all
it.
All the respect
man.
is a lot.
I agree.
Yeah,
I think that was a stretch, right? I think that was a stretch for sure. However, I do think that when you have a situation where plenty of players got snubbed from the All-Star game, and for you to still take that spot, even though you know you're not going to play, is that's really that's disrespectful to the people who wanted to be there.
Grimy move.
It's grimy. Yeah, it's grimy. There's plenty of people who wanted to be in your spot, and for you to just be like, "I'm cool," that's real disrespectful to the guys who want to be there. So, yeah, man, I've never really been a big LeBron guy. I mean, you can't take away what he's done in the league for
Yeah.
sure.
Can't deny the talent.
Can't deny the talent. Can't
he does
deny
make a questionable decision.
Yes, can't deny the stat lines. Can't deny the greatness. However, it's just like there are certain morals and principles to LeBron James that I don't agree with.
Okay, I don't know, man. LeBron doesn't make a lot of bad decisions, in
Like
my
off
opinion.
the court, yeah.
But he does from time to time. And I think the problem is that he makes so many like decent decisions as a human being
Fair.
that when he does something like that, it's like, yo,
Yeah.
like bro, what's going on?
Mm,
And I feel like that was a big thing with that. But I also feel like the players see that.
mm,
The players see that and they go, hey, you know what? Bron can do it. So can I.
mm.
You know what I mean? If Bron can do it, why can't Steph?
Yeah.
Why can't Durant?
Yeah.
You know? I don't know. I think it set a little bit of a precedent that I don't think really needed to be set.
Mm.
Which kind of does suck. But, you know, it's the league. So hopefully players will just have some pride in playing. They haven't in the past, 8 years. So let's see. Hopefully they do.
Mm.
Next on our docket today, we got a little bit of NBA trivia.
Sure.
So I'm gonna ask you 5 trivia questions. Answer to the best of your ability.
Okay.
Question number 1. Who is the oldest player in the NBA?
Is that LeBron James?
LeBron James.
Yeah.
Big talking point today, LeBron. Look at you.
I am.
40 years old, LeBron.
Mhm.
How many rings does Dwayne Wade have?
Ooh. I want to say 3.
3 is correct.
Okay.
2 for 2. How many scoring titles does Allen Iverson have?
I love AI, man. I want to get this one right for you, man.
Oh, there are people screaming at their
Yeah.
phones right now.
I want to say, is it 4?
It is 4.
Okay.
Oh
cool.
my God!
I
3
did
for
right by
3?
you, AI. Yeah.
Who drafted Jalen Brunson?
The Dallas Mavericks?
Dallas Mavericks at the 33rd pick. All right, it's time to go for perfection.
Okay.
Who holds the Trailblazers scoring record?
Damian
Lillard.
Ooh.
Dame time.
Yes,
Dame
sir.
from half, baby.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. 5 for 5. Way to go.
Yes, sir. I also have 5 trivia questions for you.
Cool.
And with us being this close to the postseason, they will be postseason oriented.
All right.
And answer to the best of your ability.
Ooh, I'm scared.
Okay, man. So, first question. How many times have your Lakers and the Boston Celtics met in the NBA Finals?
Wow. Jesus.
Yeah, I know. I came out a little,
came
strong
out
with
hot.
that. Yeah.
12.
Yeah. The
Yeah.
answer is 12. There you go. Yes, sir. 1 for 1. Next question. Question number 2. Which 2 teams played in the 2011 NBA Finals?
Was 11 the Heat and the Mavericks?
The Heat and the Mavericks.
Nice.
Yes, sir.
Yeah,
You are 2 for
Dirk.
2. We're locked
Dirk,
in.
baby.
Yes, sir. All right. Question number 3. Who is the first player to win Finals MVP and the only player to do so on the losing team?
Oh, okay.
And I will give you a hint. He is a former Laker.
All right, that's a hell of a hint.
Yeah.
I'm gonna concede. I don't know.
Okay.
I'm not sure. Who is it?
Okay. It is Jerry West. The logo.
Oh yeah! Wow!
logo,
Wow! I
Jerry
actually
West.
did know that.
Mhm.
That's hilarious.
Question number 4.
I'm sorry, Jerry.
Question number 4.
Vote Kyrie for new logo.
Yes, sir. Right. Question number 4. In Game 1 of Pacers versus Sixers in the 2001 NBA playoffs, who hit the clutch shot to put Indiana ahead by 1?
Reggie.
Yes, sir. Reggie Miller is the correct answer. Question number 5. LeBron James has the most career playoff wins. in NBA history.
Okay.
Can you name one other player in the top 5?
Top 5 of playoff wins.
Yes, sir.
Jordan.
Jordan is not on the
Is
list.
Jordan not in the top 5?
Yes.
Let me get another crack at that.
Okay.
Top 5 in playoff wins. This is gonna be a stretch of an answer, but I'm gonna say Steph Curry.
Steph Curry is not on the list.
All right.
Okay. You want to take one more crack?
Give me the 5. I don't want to say Kobe.
Kobe Bryant's
I know,
not on
I
the
know
list.
he's not on the
Yeah,
list.
man.
That's why.
So this one is I threw this one out there because this was crazy to me. Okay, I wouldn't have got this. The top 5 is LeBron James, followed by Derek Fisher.
Oh my
2.
God! Yeah. Wow.
Number 2.
I need to think of role players.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tim Duncan, number 3.
I probably could have got that.
Robert Ory, number 4.
Yeah.
And Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, number 5. Those are some names.
Not a good showing for me in trivia today.
Hey, man, it's okay. We got the next one. Yeah.
Usually this will be the weekly recap, but I think we've been out for a little bit more than a week, so let's just say Hoops recap.
Yes, sir.
Aaliyah Edwards a couple weeks ago beat Brianna Stewart 12-0 in a 1v1 match in the Unrivaled. It's a thing that they did. They had a little 1v1 tournament.
Mhm.
A lot of the players played, and Brianna Stewart is a really big name. Aaliyah Edwards is a name, but not nearly as big. What's your thought process on that?
Excuse me. Yeah, man. I think this might be a hot take, but I'm gonna take it in this direction. I think that this sets a scary precedent for the one-on-one tournament in the regular NBA.
I think it ends it.
Yeah.
I think it ends it completely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think this ends it completely. I think seeing somebody go scoreless in a 1v1 tournament kills people's motivation to do so, because now it's like my pride and my status with my fans is going to be significantly impacted potentially by this.
Imagine Steph Curry losing 12-0 to Peyton Pritchard.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, that would be crazy.
You know what I mean?
Would not hear the end of it.
I think in the WNBA and in women's basketball fans are a lot more tame.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm sure that sucked for Brianna Stewart. I'm sure she, heard her fair share of shit about it. Conversely, in the NBA, it would be endless.
Yeah.
Every time Steph opened his phone, he would see like a picture of him as a baby and Peyton Pritchard as the dad. Like, it would be constant all the time. And I don't think a lot of NBA players have the pride for that.
No.
I think that like the WNBA players have a lot more of a self-confidence and a pride to go out and play that, because I didn't think anyone was going to go scoreless. And not just saying scoreless like, oh, she couldn't score. I didn't think you were going to get beat 12-0.
Yeah.
Any NBA player that gets beat 12-0, especially an all-star of that caliber, oh my God, it will be endless. You will never hear the end of it until like once your career's over, people will still be talking about it.
Yeah.
I don't think a lot of NBA players have that type of confidence, and I don't think they're that open with their pride to go play that.
No, man.
I could see a lot of players after that. I think it was a good idea, and I think people wanted it, and I think the players were gonna play. After that happened, I can see a lot of players being like, nope.
Yep.
Nope, no way.
Mm-hmm.
We got Carmelo Anthony is becoming an analyst, man.
Yeah, man.
Melo's your dude, man. Tell me how you feel about Melo's post-career transitioning.
Yeah, man.
Podcaster, analyst.
I listen, as an individual player, I love Melo. I think that he was one of the greatest scorers that I've watched. However, as a Knicks fan,
jab steps.
Yes. As a Knicks fan, as a team fan, I gotta say, a lot of jab steps, a lot of one-on-one ISO ball that just didn't need to happen. Just a lot of postseason.
Woes.
A lot of postseason woes. A lot of forget the system, I am the system moments from Carmelo Anthony. However, can't take away from the skill set and the talent. And I'm very excited to see what's on the other side of his retirement. So far it's been pretty successful. It's been pretty entertaining to watch. He's been in a lot of commercials and ads recently that I've seen too. So yeah, shout out to Melo, man. I'm excited to see him as an analyst and see his takes, and just to see him as a professional, man.
I think it's gonna be kind of weird, man. I'm not used to I watch a little bit of Carmelo Anthony's podcast. I'm still not used to hearing Melo talk.
That's
The only thing I'm used to hearing is him yelling for rebounds.
Yeah.
That's it. I'm not used to hearing him really speak like that. So I'm curious on how it's gonna pan out.
Yeah.
LeVar Ball lost his foot.
Yeah, man.
I don't really know.
I
didn't look too deep into the story of it. I did see LaMelo and Lonzo were out there. They went and visited. They had I think LaMelo actually had a game in town where they live, and he ended up popping by and taking some pictures and spending some time with his dad. LeVar Ball has been very out of the news, very quiet, which has been great for just the general populace. But now that he has lost his foot, I've seen him a little bit more often, and I don't think I'm a fan of it, man.
Yeah.
I don't think I'm a fan of it. He needs to go sit down somewhere.
Yeah.
Go hop to a couch somewhere.
Yeah.
What's your take on LeVar Ball's foot missing, man?
Man, so obviously that's unfortunate for him. That's you never want to see that. You never want to see somebody go through health issues, obviously.
Yeah.
However, yeah, he was a guy who did a lot of talking, too much talking, and he put some targets on his kid's back by doing so.
Let me backtrack.
Okay.
LeVar Ball got his two sons to the end.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. And that's another thing that I was going to touch on, man. He went 3 for 3 as a dad, because even with his oldest, even with LiAngelo not making it to the league, right?
He did play in the G League.
He did play in the G League though. So he at least got him there, right? But that didn't work out. He didn't make a final NBA roster, and that's tough for him. That sucks, but it is what it is, because LeVar said, "You know what? You about to hit that? Oh, all right." That man had his son hop.
Studio,
yes, you about to hop up in the studio, okay? And that song has been I thought it was just gonna end.
Yeah,
I thought it was gonna be a one-hit wonder. It's just gonna end as soon as it started. I hear my stepson, my 9-year-old stepson, come home from school singing this. Okay, this is a thing. This is a thing where LiAngelo Ball might become a music artist. Truly, he might actually do this.
Started as a meme,
but might actually become a music artist because he went viral. He performed at All-Star Weekend, and you can't take away what LeVar has done for his children, finding avenues for them.
Yeah. 3 for 3.
Genuinely. Yes. If we hit a wall, we'll find something else for you. Has been insane. Okay. LeVar Ball as a father, unbeatable, undefeated, undefeated as a father.
Dad. I've never seen a dad believe in their kids so much.
Yeah.
To you know what I mean? To actually push them into the league. Yeah. I'm not saying that the boys wouldn't have got there on their talent alone, but I do think LeVar Ball made it. He put so many cameras and so many lights on them that there was almost no other option.
Mm-hmm.
I shout out LeVar, man.
100%.
Shout out LeVar.
Yeah.
But now that they're in the league and they got records, sit on the couch.
Yeah. Yep. You did your job.
Wembanyama, speaking of sitting on the couch, out for the season, man. He's out with it's the same thing Bosch had.
Yeah.
Yeah. I guess I did read up that a couple players in the league have had it since Bosch, and they've been isolated incidents. What do you think this means for Wemby? What do you think this means for the Spurs? And also Wemby long term as the face of the league?
Yeah, man. So obviously, like I do think that the severity of it matters. Because from what I understand, Bosch's was so severe that it was like you are actually in risk of like heart
Yeah,
attacks, like
he had
cardiac
to retire.
arrest. Yeah. So yeah, like Victor Wembanyama's situation, obviously I think you got to monitor the severity of it. If it is that severe, I would hope that he would take care of himself rather than try to, I hope that's not the case because
Yeah.
this man is very, very young and he's just getting started, just made his first All-Star team. That would be tragic. It'd be a tragedy, it'd be worse than like the Greg Oden situation. The Greg Oden situation was tragic.
Was Wembanyama your front runner for Defensive Player of the Year?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, he
For
was mine too.
sure. Yeah. So yeah,
Yeah,
to
that
have
gets taken away from him.
Yeah, so to have all these tragedies come already, and if we were to say find out that he can't continue his career, that would be one of the most tragic losses that we've seen in the NBA in a very long time.
Could be the biggest what if since Derrick Rose.
Yes, yeah, a very very big what if.
Mhm.
So hopefully he's all right, man. Hopefully Wemby's okay. Yeah.
Shout out Wemby, man. Hopefully you get better.
Mhm.
I'm looking to see that Wembanyama, De'Aaron Fox, Spurs
Yeah.
team.
Mhm.
That's gonna be great for them. However, now that he is out, what do you think this means for the Spurs? I mean, they already are kind of in a weird spot. So, but do you think now they'll just go into tank mode? Because you don't got Pop,
Mhm.
you don't got Greg Popovich for the rest of the season. You don't got Wemby. You do got De'Aaron Fox, which is great, and Chris Paul. Do you think they should tank?
I think at this point in the season, I mean, you really don't have much to play for at
So
this
kind of
point.
tank and get Cooper Flag.
Yeah, I think at this point in the season, if De'Aaron Fox is the only leg you really have left to stand on, at least consistently, because I mean the Spurs have pieces. It's not a matter if they have talent or not. They have young talent. It's just the consistency isn't there yet.
Yeah.
Castle has shown amazing flashes.
Mhm.
Jeremy Sohan, I've talked about him before. He shows flashes,
I
but
like Champagny too.
Champagny is nice. Yeah, Devin Vassell had 37 the other night. You can't take that away from him. It's just a matter of putting it together on a night by night basis. And I do think that they'll get there eventually. I do think they need Wemby there consistently to help open up that for them. So yeah, I think at this point in the season, you have young talent that isn't quite there yet. Don't over rely on De'Aaron Fox when you just got him. You'd hate to see him injure himself trying to carry the team.
Yeah, that's very true.
So yeah, I think you just do what you do this season, shut it down, and let's try again next year. Yeah.
Bobby Portis, speaking of shut it down, got suspended for 25 games post All-Star break. So I mean, the season.
Yeah.
That's a big blow for the Bucks for sure. I think he will. I do believe he will come back like one of the last couple of games. But I know for sure he'll be back for the playoffs, which is cool. But he's not going to be in shape. He's not going to be in game shape. Bobby Portis, so that's going to be a really weird. And Bobby Portis has been playing really well, this year. So that's going to be a really weird thing for them to deal with.
Yeah.
How do you think that affects the Bucks in general?
I think that the Bucks are obviously the Bucks are a team that you can't count them out because of the talent that they have between Dame and Giannis. Those are two icons. But yeah, I think that they need more. And I think Bobby Portis was great for them as a role player. And I definitely think that losing him does hurt them. Especially like this close to the postseason. I think that's rough for them. I'd like to think that they're going to be resilient enough to find ways to win.
I think in the East, I think they'll be fine.
Yeah,
I do. I think if they were in the West, this would be a crazy blow.
Yeah,
that could take them out of like playoff contention.
Yeah,
crazy blow. I think in the East, I think they should be.
Yeah, I don't. I see them being resilient and figuring out ways to win without him. So
yeah. Andre Iguodala got his Warriors jersey retired, man. Big year for Iggy.
Yeah.
Big year for Iggy. I really enjoyed Iguodala on the Warriors. That was not my favorite Iguodala though.
Mm-hmm.
Sixers Iguodala was
Sixers
different.
yeah. Sixers
He
Iguodala
was
was
different.
yeah, man.
But Warriors Iguodala was essential
Mm-hmm.
to that team, and I think that's where he got a lot of his. I think that's where he got a lot of his outside of basketball fan base, because I think Steph Curry bought in a lot of outside of basketball viewership. And so, like, to see Iggy on the team, and he's kind of the older guy of the group, kind of the vet, still playing hard, playing D, taking on tough challenges like Bron. You know what I mean? Heat LeBron, he's taking on in the finals. He's doing, yeah, I think Andre Iguodala at that point in his career was a guy who was willing to do anything to get that ring, which was great because he fit in with that team perfectly. What was your favorite Iggy moment?
Yeah, man.
On the Warriors.
Yeah, obviously winning that the Finals MVP, that was a big thing. Yeah,
that's a real controversial MVP.
That was, but I was okay with it. I mean, I've always been biased as a big Iguodala guy. I even liked him when he was on the Nuggets. He was on the Nuggets, and that was a kind of a forgotten about stint that he had there. But yeah, man, I think he's always just been the type of player where it's like, do you need me to be an all-star or do you need me to be a role player? Which is a crazy transition, right? But for him to just be okay with that, whatever role that he was kind of given, it's just like, okay, I'm here with the Warriors now. Because when he was initially brought in, it was kind of like, it felt like it was like him, Clay, or it was Steph, Clay, and Iggy, right? It kind of felt like that was the big three. KD comes in, and now he's like, okay, I can go to the bench. And that to me is just like a crazy thing to be able to go from like I was brought in as like the third piece to be like I'm okay being a driving force off the bench. Yeah, Iggy just had a winner's mentality to me.
The Warriors get a lot of players.
They do,
which is cool.
Yeah.
I think Butler. I mean, just speaking on the Warriors, I think Jimmy Butler fits in that role right now. Because like what he was doing in Miami was crazy. He was a single-handed driving force of that team through the playoffs to the finals. I think that like having that guy be able to come to the Warriors and go, yeah, I'll take a second option spot. You know what I mean? I'll be Robin for a little bit. It's like, what? Like that's crazy. Like usually those guys want to come in and like he wants to be Jimmy Butler. Like he's like, nah, I'll hoop. You know, I'll just tell me where you want me, and that's where. And I think Iggy did that same thing. I think that's a really weird thing that the Warriors always can seem to get players, really hard nosed guys too, who play like that. That's kind of weird, man. What are you thinking on Jimmy so far?
Jimmy Butler, yeah.
You think he's changed the Warriors a little bit?
I do. I 100% think he's changing the Warriors. I mean, even just mentality before he had even really played games with them. Draymond going on broadcast saying that we're going to win a championship and all that. I really think he changed the like mental dynamic of that team. And then yeah, just the way that he's been playing, he's like you said, he's just like, tell me where I'm going. Tell me where I'm going, and I'll help you. I'll help us get there. So
I think he changed Steph too.
Yeah,
I think Steph realizes that he has a shot now.
Yeah,
because if you have been watching Steph Curry play over these past, I mean, since the All-Star break, he has been playing out of his mind.
Yeah,
and like the beginning of the season, he wasn't playing awful. He was still playing well, but it feels like he really turned up to 11. You know, like post Jimmy trade, which is I think he sees this is one of the last shots I'm gonna get. Let me take it. You know, Steph Curry has been out of his mind, and I really can attribute it all to Jimmy Butler being placed on that team. Yeah, dude, what a good time to be an NBA fan. Bad time to be a WNBA fan. Diana Taurasi retired.
Yeah.
That's tough.
That's real tough. Yeah, that's a tough blow for the WNBA. I think she was. Yeah, for sure. She did her thing carrying the WNBA name. Really, and I hope that for the WNBA's sake now, I mean, I think it's going to be on Caitlin now. You know, I think Caitlin Clark is going to have to she's gonna have the burden of carrying the WNBA. But I mean, I think that's a good thing. I think she's willing to carry that, and like even I don't know if you've seen the ads, but like you can't win, so win. I don't know. I like that. I like that a lot because
Yeah.
it's like it feels like you're not good enough here. You can't do this because this or whatever. All the stigmas that come with WNBA and women's sports and just like women in general. I think Caitlin Clark understands that. I think she understands that there's going to be a lot of scrutiny, and I think she's going to be ready for it.
I think there's a couple of them that do now. I feel like there's a new wave of women's players. Like Asia Wilson.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? There's a new wave of women's players coming in. Juju Watkins. There's a wave coming in that understand that. They understand, okay, you know what? You guys don't want to watch me. So I'm gonna make you watch me. You know what I mean? I'm gonna go out of my way to be that good that you go, let me check out this game. You know? And I think that's good. I think a lot of the women prior, except for Taurasi, were kind of okay and like not okay with it, but they were kind of just faulting to that point. And I think a lot of the newer gen that's coming in is going, yeah, we're not going. We're not going for it. Y'all are about to give us the respect we deserve, which is great. That's going to be great for women's basketball. Not great for the Sixers. Paul George decided to take a little break from podcasting after that last stat we dropped on him in our last video. Look at that, Paul. He heard us.
Yeah.
Stepped away from podcasting so he could focus on the Sixers playing.
Yeah, man.
He stepped away to play more and is still playing like garbage.
Yeah.
Absolute garbage.
Yeah.
I don't know what's going on.
Yeah, man. It's like what made you? I'm just curious. Like what made you reach the point where you're like, oh, I should probably lock in now. You know what I mean? Because it's like this has been an ongoing thing all season long, right? Where you have to be watching Tyrese Maxey on a night in, night out basis, putting his body on the line, right? Who's been struggling with injuries recently. You've been watching this man put himself on the line every night. Embiid's not playing, right? So where are you? We are looking at you as the second option of our team. We signed you to big money to be that, and where are you? And so to be dealing with that all season long, and when you do play, like you said, you are playing like trash, okay? And for you to just be like, just randomly like, I'm gonna
take it seriously.
Now I'm gonna take it seriously. When we are out of contention completely, now I'm gonna take it seriously is crazy to me. That's so wild. And yeah, I just don't understand. I don't understand the logic there because it's like at this point, what are you doing? What are you playing for? Yeah.
To that very point, Joel Embiid is out for the season now. He has been deactivated, and they were talking about giving him like experimental surgery or something, or radical surgery was the term. Sorry, where they were saying like something with his hip. They're gonna like take part of his hip so that he stood straighter or something going on. Man, I don't know what's up with Embiid and his knee hip issues. I mean, just random injuries. He barely played this season. After making the declaration that he's reached the point in his career he doesn't have to play back to back. Joel Embiid has constantly been on this podcast and has never, I don't think we've covered him playing. I think we've covered like, oh, Embiid's back and he had this, but he went out the next game. It's like I don't know what's happening. If you're the Sixers, what are you doing right now? Because you got 2 stars. I give you Maxey being in and out of injury. However, Maxey's in and out of injury from like playing.
Yeah.
Embiid and Paul George. I don't know what you do with these two because like what value do they have?
Yeah, they are
in general?
untradeable. Yeah.
But 2, you're just paying them for nothing at this point. You're paying them for absolutely nothing.
Yeah.
I just don't understand. I think I did see a thing that was if Embiid's still not able to play by this point next year, the Sixers could do a forced retirement. Which I don't think they'll do. I don't. It's not really a thing that they'll do. But I do think Embiid should do a forced retirement. I think it might just be time to give it up, dog.
Mm-hmm.
It might be time to give it up if you really can't be that healthy, and if you're thinking radical surgery. You got to think about yourself after basketball because you can't play forever unless you're LeBron James for some reason.
Mm-hmm.
But like you can't play forever. And I don't think he should do anything too crazy to alter himself just so he could play. And I'm sure it has to do with his normal day-to-day life as well, but I really don't want him as a person to do anything crazy so that he can get on the court and be pushed on the court rather than just hang it up. Hang it up.
Mm-hmm.
You're on a Sixers team that's not really that great in the first place. I don't really know what you would be doing it for, at that point. What do you think? You think he should give it up, or you think he should?
Yeah, man. I think why force it at this point? I think if you're the Sixers, I think if you're in the Sixers position, you got to start realizing that you have a bunch of players who feel way overly entitled, in my opinion.
Mhm.
Paul George, lack of competitive edge. You said it, I think it was in the previous video. The lack of competitive edge that Paul George has makes it seem as though he's been there, done that.
Yeah.
And you would
Yeah.
think with
You would
Paul
think Paul George
George's
has 5 rings.
5 rings, right? The way that he is. And then to go to Embiid, who is saying, I'm at the point in my career where I don't have to play back-to-backs.
Yeah. You would think he has 5.
You would think he has 5 rings. So the amount of entitlement that they have on this team right now is insane.
Mhm.
Okay. Yeah, man. I like from the standpoint of the Sixers organization, I got to be real, man. I hope they get out of that situation.
Mhm.
I hate it when players feel overly entitled. Their ego and confidence outweighs what they've actually accomplished.
Yeah.
And those are 2 players who just embody that completely for me. So I hope they're able to get out of it, but those are 2 contracts that right now seem untradeable to me.
Yeah.
The amount of money that they are making,
I just don't know what you do with them.
I don't know what you do with them. I don't know what you do.
I don't either. You just bench them and let Jared McCain and Tyrese Maxey take over for next year.
Yeah.
And it's not like they have an awful team outside of those 2. It's just that the 2 star players, the 2 players that you are that are supposed to go out and win you games, go out and close you games, go out and be your stars, just aren't that.
Mm-hmm.
I think McCain's solid. I think Maxey's great. I think Yabusele has been great. He made a name for himself in the Olympics with that dunk on Braun, and then he got into. I don't mean to keep shaming you, LeBron, James, but he made that dunk on Braun. He got on the Sixers, and he's been playing really well.
Mm-hmm.
Kelly Oubre had like 30 the other night, but no one cares.
Yeah,
that's the problem. Is no one cares what anyone on that team does.
Quentin Grimes.
The only thing, Quentin Grimes is on their team now. Yeah,
mm-hmm.
the only thing that people care about the Sixers are Embiid and Paul George, and they're the 2 players that aren't on the court. Mm-hmm. And I think that's insane for the other players that are on the court
for sure.
Speaking of injuries, we got a rough one. Kyrie.
Hate to see it.
ACL, man. Kyrie tore his ACL. He's out. Heard with that they're probably going to shut down Anthony Davis. Davis had been talking about trying to make a quick comeback and blah, blah, blah. Probably get injured again, AD. But I'm so glad to be able to join in the AD's made out of paper thing now that he's not on the Lakers. Because now I had to defend him before. I had to be like, no, man, AD's great. He's fine. But now that AD was supposed to come back, but now that Kyrie's out, I just don't. There's no reason, So I think they're gonna shut him down. I'm not really sure. I know Kyrie does have a player option. Um, After this year, do you think he leaves the Mavs? So I think Kyrie found a place where he was loved, and I think that was something that he was looking for.
Mhm.
I think Kyrie is looking for things outside of basketball right now when he plays basketball. I
Mhm.
think he wants a place to be loved and accepted,
Mhm.
and I think Dallas was that. He had Luca. I think he loved the team, and the fans. However, this new management, the new ownership of the Mavs, had tried to build a casino for the Dallas Mavericks. They were told no, and then they had threatened to move the Mavericks. And not Mark Cuban, Adam Silver, and the league is kind of like, no, you're not moving the Mavericks. People love the Mavericks, the fans love the Mavericks, and all this. So they said, oh, do they now? They traded Luca, thus making a lot. Well, I'm not gonna paraphrase, making all Mavs fans very upset. And then I think that they are capitalizing on the injuries because I feel like trading Luca was just to upset Mavs fans, but Kyrie and the rest of the team was doing their things to keep the fans happy and still be a winning franchise. However, now that like Lively's out, Gafford's out, uh, Anthony Davis is out, and then you have Kyrie tearing his ACL. Right, I think that day, the day of him tearing his ACL, they just announced, and that was with all the rest of the team already out. They announced that they were upping season ticket prices, and they were upping ticket prices. So now you have all the team injured. You trade away a generational talent in Luca, and you up ticket prices. So now they are upsetting Mavs fans so that they can move the Mavericks to build a casino somewhere else. What's your thought process on that conspiracy?
Yeah, man. I used to be a real big conspiracy nut. And everything was like, oh, it's gotta be, it's gotta be. And so I'm not gonna jump all the way out the window and say like it has to be this, but those are extremely compelling arguments, bro. Extremely compelling. And when you look at all of that, and what the past of this, management has been, you gotta wonder, man.
Yeah.
You gotta wonder. You gotta start asking questions, and to trade away a player like Luca, where it didn't even feel real.
Yeah, for virtually no reason.
Yeah, for no reason, didn't feel real. You couldn't even do the trade in a basketball simulation game. Couldn't do it in 2K, and to be able to trade a player like that for what is crazy to me. So you gotta ask some questions there.
Yeah. Especially for an AD who was previously injured. AD did he already had that injury on the Lakers. So I don't really know, man. I was on the fence, and then I heard the ticket raising thing, and I'm like, oh wow, they were really trying to piss off Mavs fans. They are, because there's no other reasoning behind that. There's no other reasoning behind that. Yes, they did go to the finals last year. So, I could see them being like, oh, we went to the finals, we're going to raise ticket prices. But that's something you do at the beginning of the season. That's not something you do with 60% of your team injured and you just traded away your best player. That's not when you raise ticket prices for next season. So I can say this is a conspiracy I believe in.
Yeah.
But with that being said, how do you think that's affecting the players? I mean, Kyrie, especially, he has his player option. I feel like he might. I don't want to say he's gonna leave the Mavericks, just because he did find such a good home in the Mavericks. But if they're planning on moving the Mavericks and all this background shady stuff with the new ownership, I could see Kyrie getting out of there. Yeah. I could see Kyrie being like, "Nah, man, I ain't doing this," and skate.
Yeah.
He already lost Luca, which was one of his best friends that he had there. He doesn't really know AD like that. They don't really have that team chemistry yet. And I feel like Anthony Davis being such like a injury prone player is tough. But to be very honest, Kyrie could just try to re-sign for more money. Because right now I think PJ Washington and someone else, is it Anthony Davis? Or someone is up the next year. So he'll be having to fight for money at that point. But right now he could just do it for more money. Or he could do it as a bluff for more money. And if they're like, nope, Kyrie, we're not re-signing you, then you really know, like, okay, the Mavericks ownership is really on one. But then again, he could just dip out of there, man. I'm not sure where he would go. Like if anywhere is really in need of a Kyrie, except for the Lakers. The Lakers are always in need of a Kyrie. We're in need of a Kyrie. And you know what? Send us Giannis too. But what do you think on Kyrie staying with all of this drama on the team? I mean, they're barely a team right now.
Yeah. It seems like Kyrie always goes to these places where it seems good at first, but then like something with management or the team just does something that completely like messes it up for him.
It's supposed
right?
to be this great opportunity.
Yeah, and then it fails him in the end. It really does feel that way. And so like I'm sure most of us, a lot of us can relate to this as workers, right? Where we work for a company and it feels like maybe when you first get there, it feels like they care about their employees or they try to look out for them employees, and then suddenly everything's great, and then suddenly HR people start getting fired, management starts getting fired. There's this management changes. There's this turnover rate, right? That's going in the higher up area, and then suddenly this vacation is taken away. There's changes to your PTO time. There starts to be all these little trickle down effects that come with management changes, right? And it feels like that is exactly what is going on right now in Dallas. And unfortunately, Kyrie might be one of those players where it's like that is your prize employee right now, right? Mm-hmm. But he is gonna start realizing that he is getting shafted by upper management. And I truthfully, I agree with you. I think Kyrie is in the stage of his career where he's playing for more than just basketball. Mm-hmm. I think he wants to be in a place where he feels respected and cared about by people.
And he had that in Dallas.
And he had that in Dallas. Yeah, he had that in Dallas. Yeah. I think Mark Cuban was doing a fantastic job before he started selling his stake in the franchise.
I know. As soon as Mark Cuban was out of there, this whole thing just flipped.
Yeah.
Man.
Yeah.
Wow. I've never seen it change that quick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah, man, I don't know if Kyrie's going to stick around there for much longer just because of the fact that it seems like this management isn't going to be somebody who is considering their players more than money.
Yeah, so. It seems like they are all about money right now.
Yeah.
They are all about it. And I think right now they're just trying to strong arm the league into being like, yeah, let us build our casino, or right, because that casino will print money. Mm-hmm. It will. It'll print money and it'll all go to them. Or that's how they're going to pay the player. They're going to use that casino money that they're getting inside. That's what's going to pay this guy's contract. Mm-hmm. So now we're pocketing everything else. Mm-hmm. I hate to see owners like that that are just in it for the money. I really like owners like, what's his name? The Clippers owner, Ballmer. Mm-hmm. I like him. He seems like he's about hoops. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? He does. He seems like he is about hoops. I like the Buss family, the Lakers. They're about hoops. Mm-hmm. They're about entertainment, at least. They're about hoops, and they're just about that ideal. I'm okay with that. But it seems like these Dallas owners are very much just about a buck, and then they're out of there. Mm-hmm. That does suck, man. We did talk about them earlier, but the Suns are planning to move KD in the summer. I guess that they're just planning they're trying to work together to move him somewhere that he would want to be, that would also help them. Do you think the Suns messed up I think that during the trade deadline, they were talking to the Warriors, and I think KD was content with being on the Suns. I don't think he really was looking for an out. I don't think there was any problem with being on the Suns. I think after they had made that whole deal with the Warriors, and he's like, "What is this? I don't want to do it." I think he is like, "Yeah, no," because at this point, you guys don't respect what I'm doing for you, so I'm out of here. Do you have that same thought process, or what do you think maybe made this shift in Phoenix happen?
Yeah, man. So there's usually this situation that to me seems like there's a fall guy, right? Somebody has to take the fall for a team not being successful, and I think that somehow, some way, in Phoenix's mind, KD is the reason, and I don't, and I'm trying to figure out how exactly, right? And maybe it's like some kind of deflection. It's usually a deflection of like we messed up, right? And so it's like a thing where it's like, okay, so I think the Bradley Beal trade, it might be a hot take for a lot of people. I think the Bradley Beal trade was where their front office messed up, because Bradley Beal is making a lot of money to either not play. When he does play, he has been playing pretty well. But I don't think he is what they brought him in to be, which was DC Beal. This was supposed to be Washington Wizards All-Star Bradley Beal, okay? And I don't think he is that. I think that when certain front offices mess up, they look for somebody or something to be the fall, and it's never really actually what the problem is, right? For just real quick, okay. For me, from the perspective of a Knicks fan, and I don't care what anybody has to say. I'm a hot take guy, okay? I'm a hot take guy, and I will debate you. Okay, the Karl Anthony Towns trade on paper was just kind of like, okay, a lot of people were like, this could be a win-win thing. This could be like some people were saying that the Knicks won the trade because like DiVincenzo has been either hurt or not performing well, and Julius has been meh, so there were people that were saying the Knicks were the winners. There were people at the first side of the trade saying the Timberwolves were the winners because DiVincenzo and Julius and Cat is not performing in the postseason. Okay, there's all of that. I saw that trade as the Knicks front office messing up on not being able to bring back Isaiah Hartenstein. After he went to OKC, there was a huge. I was following every Knicks podcast thing at the time, and everybody was talking about how big of a loss that Isaiah Hartenstein. Right? We just got Mikal, right? We just got Bridges, and everybody was like, "Oh, let's go! We got Bridges, the Nova Knicks, all this stuff," and then we lost Hartenstein. So we had all this momentum of getting the Bridges trade, and then you lost so much momentum off of that. The Knicks fans were unhappy, right? So it's like, oh, we got to do something. We got to make these fans happy again. Do anything, right? An all-star, boom. We'll just get a new all-star. You brought in Cat, and he's a center, right? Or he can play center, okay? He's a power forward / center, so we can bring somebody in to replace Hartenstein. Now people are like, okay, well, now we have somebody to fill the center spot, and he's an all-star. But you look at any fan's reaction to the Cat trade, and nobody was like, you know what I mean? Yeah, nobody was like, oh, we got Cat, right? It was not that. It was not the same effect that we had, that the Bridges trade had, right? Yeah. The Bridges trade was momentum. That was momentum. The Cat trade felt like a panic move, especially because it was within the last week before the season started. Yeah. He didn't even have all of training camp to prepare with this team. And so what I'm saying is I think that certain front offices mess up. They make panic moves, and then they're like, oh, well, we're not going to take accountability for the panic move that we did. We're gonna pin it on somebody else. We're going to move that player. We're going to fire that coach. We're going to do whatever we got to do to make it look like we did not mess up so we don't lose our jobs, right? Because if you eat that, if you eat your mistake, that's it. That's on you.
You see what the Mavericks are doing to Nico.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. So you can't eat that. You can't eat that if you want to
Not at
keep your
all.
job. And that's exactly what it feels like to me, is that what they're doing with KD is that somebody's got to be scapegoated, right? We made a mistake. This isn't working. This team is not performing to what we haven't made a final since we played against the Bucks. It's not working. So we got to pin the blame on
somebody.
anybody except for the front office making bad moves.
So do you think Beal is the problem
I don't think he's the
in Phoenix?
Okay, I don't think he. So let me say this. From Beal's standpoint as a skilled player, I think he's a good player, right? I think that what it is you brought in a player who's making a crazy amount of money when you could be dispersing that money to build a better team around Book and KD, but you wanted to bring in this all-star player, this big name that's taking up. You tried to build a big three, and I don't think that is the direction that they wanted to actually go.
If we're talking hot takes, I don't know how hot of a take this would be. I think Booker's the problem.
Okay, yeah, and I can see that too.
I like Devin Booker. This is not me just spewing Devin Booker hate. But they've given him everything. Yeah. They've given him everything he could possibly want.
Yeah.
Okay? He had DeAndre Ayton, who was DeAndre Ayton. You had Chris Paul.
Yeah.
You had Kevin Durant. You have Beal. Well, what do you want?
Yeah.
What do you want? They had Nurkic. What do you want? They have given you every single thing you wanted. They've surrounded with good shooters, Grayson Allens. You know what I mean? They've got guys like that who are just there to make shots. They've given him every single thing that he could ask for, and they still are not a winning team. I think it's time for the Suns to move away from Booker rather than it is for them to move away from Durant.
I like that, yeah.
I think what soured their relationship for me is I don't even think it was a front office move. I think it was a front office move, but not like just them messing up. I think it was that trade to the Warriors. I do. I think that they talked that trade over and all this, and Kevin Durant was like, yo, I thought we were cool. I thought we were cool. And I know he understands the business part of the NBA, but at the same token, that's Kevin Durant.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But I do understand where you're coming from with, I feel like certain panic moves did get made. I don't know about Beal, though, man. Beal is like, so the thing with Bradley Beal is like, for places that try to sign him, that's like, oh, we wanted the Beal from Washington. What was he doing? Yeah, he's giving you 50, 60, 40, 30 a game. Oh, yeah, that's great. How many games did you win? Where'd you go? What'd you do in the playoffs? How many points you're scoring? You know what I mean? Like, that's cool. Yeah, you scored a bunch of points. That's perfect. Everybody can score points when they're on a team with nobody.
Yeah.
But, he should be scoring 50 a night. He has the ultimate green light. I cannot name another player off of that Wizards team when Beal was on the Wizards.
Yeah. Especially once John Wall left.
Westbrook on the team at some point.
Yeah, Westbrook.
That's it.
John Wall, but yeah, he
so
was gone
that's
too.
what I mean.
Yeah,
after John Wall left,
yeah.
I don't know what Beal was doing. Like, it's great that you're scoring points, and like he did need to get out of Washington 100%. But I feel like they made it like, oh, Bradley Beal's gonna be this guy, and it's like he's not.
Yeah,
he's not that guy. He is just a good player with the green light.
Yeah,
that's all it is. I don't know. I don't know what the idea is. But I think that they really pissed off Durant.
For sure.
And I think he's ready to be out of there.
Yeah.
But with that being said, where do you think he'll go? What's a good place where Durant fits? I mean, Durant is a system.
Yeah.
So he can kind of fit anywhere, but where would you like to see him?
Man, that's a real good question. Like, dude, and then maybe this started with the idea of Jimmy Butler going to Houston, but I would like to see KD in Houston, man. I think that Houston is like, they're on the come up, They're one of those teams on the come up. They have Sengun, they have Amen Thompson, they have Jalen Green, they have like a really solid like young core. And I think if you put KD in that,
Yeah.
that could really push them, push them to the next level. I would like to see him in Houston, and I feel like that's a team that could use him.
I think Van Fleet's a good vet.
Yeah.
But I think they need a vet who can like
Actually
go and take over the game. I think that's a good take.
Mm-hmm. What about you? What you thinking?
See, the Lakers are in need of. I think Durant would be good. The problem is he's just good anywhere.
Yeah.
I'm not really sure, man. I don't really know where so like the basketball fan in me wants Durant to go back to the Thunder.
Yeah. I'd like to see that, man.
But the basketball fan in me wanted Paul George to go back to the Pacers.
Yeah.
So like yeah.
Mm-hmm.
The problem with Durant going back to the Thunder, obviously Kevin Durant fits in anywhere, but those guys are just young, man. I think a lot of Durant's game nowadays thrives on the half court. I think it thrives in a lot of like, hey, you know what? We need a bucket. Give it to Durant. But the Thunder run. They're just young dudes. They run, man. And when they're in the half court, they have SGA. So they're not really in need of anything. And so that's where I'm kind of like, I don't really know where KD is needed right now on their team. I'm not really sure because obviously there are those like failing franchises like the Wizards or like something like that. But I think KD being KD is gonna want to go to at least a contender. I don't think he's gonna pull a move like he did last time and go to like the number one contender. That didn't really pan out too well in media eye. But I do see him going to a contender. Hopefully he stays out west. I like KD in the West. I think KD in the East is he's still KD, but I like him having that competition in the West. Unless he goes to the Pistons. Shout out Detroit. Shout out Cade.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, I don't know. The Mavericks are always looking for somebody to play games.
Yeah, real life. Yeah.
So they could use anyone, but
yeah,
who knows if he wants to go deal with all that. I know him and Kyrie would be pretty decent friends. They'll be good together. Speaking of some good players, Peyton Pritchard and Derek White.
Yeah, man.
2 role players. Combined for 19 threes and 84 points against the Trailblazers. That's insane.
It is.
Absolutely insane. And it shows the depth of the Celtics. Dude, the Celtics are a deep team.
Yes, they are.
What do you think about those two in particular? I'm a big Derek White guy. I love Derek White. What's your take on Derek White and Peyton Pritchard being 2 good role players on the Celtics?
Yeah, man. Peyton Pritchard is 6-man worthy to me. I think Peyton Pritchard is a very, very talented player. I think he gets overlooked a lot. It's like he's one of those players where like you don't really think about him unless you're watching the games, right?
Yeah.
And then you watch the games and you're like, oh, especially against teams that like don't have good benches. If you don't have a good bench against Peyton Pritchard, he is gonna eat you up. Yes. So yeah, man, Peyton Pritchard is a very, very talented player. Derek White, obviously, you can't underestimate him. And I definitely did because when Derek White was with San Antonio, I was like, when they made that trade, I was like, okay, they got But dude has been on a different level since he came.
Head and went crazy, bro.
Yeah, man. He went to Boston, shaved that head, and he is a different dude. So yeah, man, and just the Celtics as a whole team have been shooting out of their minds this season. So yeah, shout out to those guys. They have been going ballistic.
Some sad news. There was a Lakers-Knicks game.
Yeah, man.
The other day, me and you didn't get the chance to watch it together, but did get to give some commentary on it.
Yeah.
OT Brunson goes out. He's gonna be out for 2 weeks with an ankle sprain. Me and you talked about a little bit of this off camera, and you guys are on a tough stretch of games right as he's going out. You did beat the Heat in OT. So that
That's
is
something,
good.
yeah.
I saw a lot of the TNT guys were predicting that you guys could possibly lose all 4 or 5 games without Brunson. Are you in that same spirit? Do you think you guys have the team? What's your
Yeah.
Tell me about
Yeah.
the Knicks.
Yeah,
You know what I
man.
mean? Tell me
Yeah.
about the Knicks without Brunson. Man.
Okay. So this team, the way that I feel about this team this year compared to how I felt last year is there's a huge difference. Last year it was a next man up mentality. It felt like if we lost somebody, we didn't really lose somebody because there was like a grit, there was an edge, there was a toughness to that team last year that was just different. And I truly believe last year I thought a healthy team could have made it all the way.
Yeah.
And I haven't felt, and that's crazy to feel as a Knicks fan because you know how I felt as a Knicks fan, okay? And so to feel that feeling that I felt last year of this might be our year if we can stay healthy, and then to come up short with all the injuries in the playoffs, thanks Tibbs. It's not all on Tibbs. It's not all on Tibbs, but he's putting some mileage on these players, man. But yeah, the way that I feel about the team this year is just that we just don't have that kind of mental grit and edge. And I've been seeing, even in post game interviews, some of these dudes that are talking, Bridges, Cat, the way that these guys are talking after losses and stuff, it just feels like they don't care. It just feels like Bridges has a bad game and he's down on himself. And I know that there were games last year where like guys would have a bad game and they'll be like, I just got to come out next game and be better. I got to show up for my team. But it's just like guys get post game interviews after bad games and they're just like, yeah. You know what I mean? Yeah. And it's like that. No, we do not need that. We do not need that. And there will be guys like Jalen Brunson, Josh Hart. Those guys will still be like
those two
are the heart and soul of the team, right? And the personnel that we should have around them should be up. Yeah. Come on, like we got to get up. And those two will go out and speak for those players that are having bad games, right? Yeah. They'll be like, he'll be better next game, or you know what I mean. But those players themselves, even Cat, it just feels like where's the grit? Where's the determination? Where's the fight to be better? And it just feels like we don't have that. And so for Brunson to go out, one of the hearts of the team
is tough.
Is super tough.
And he's the bulk of you guys' score.
Yeah.
A lot of times.
It's super tough. And the fact that now we have a team that doesn't have the bulk of its scoring, loses heart, and loses grit. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
What do we have right now?
So do you not think Cat, I know you're not a big Cat fan.
No, man. No, I won't even sugarcoat it anymore. That ship has sailed.
So do you think Cat is going to be able to step up at least now that there's no one else to defer the ball to? I personally don't see it.
No.
I mean, I told you in that Knicks game when we watched Knicks Lakers after Brunson went out, it was still a 2-point game.
Mm-hmm.
Or did Brunson tie it? Didn't Brunson tie it?
It was close. He
shot those free throws,
and
I think he either tied it or they were up or they were down 2. And I remember Cat didn't do anything.
No.
He did literally nothing for the whole rest of overtime. No. He did nothing in overtime in general. But on the last possession, I think you guys had what, like 15 seconds or something like that? He got the ball.
Mm-hmm.
And, we're swarming on defense. I get it. But Cat made no move. Yeah. He kind of got the ball. He sat, passed it out. And I'm kind of like, what are you doing? You're supposed to be the guy right now. You're supposed to be the guy. Mm-hmm. I don't think Cat can be the guy.
No, I agree. He can't.
And especially not in New York.
Yeah.
I think on the Timberwolves, it was easier because it's a smaller market. I think the New York fan base will eat him alive. 100%. And I think he understands that. And so he is just defaulting.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know if he'll be able to step up. Do you think it's only 2 weeks. Do you think he can pull it out for 2 weeks, or you think you guys are cooked?
Man, you can ask my wife about how I felt about this Cat trade when it happened, bro. Okay, this was like a bomb, a ESPN bomb that got dropped at it It was pretty late at night. It was like between 9 and 11 p.m. when this trade dropped, and I could not sleep. Okay, and that's how you know that something's off. You know, to go from like feeling so pumped last season to being like, ooh.
Yeah,
that is just how I felt off of first glance of this trade. I didn't know why I felt this way about this trade. I'm like, because Cat is a good player, right? This should be okay, right? But there was something about it that just did not feel right, you know? And I was like, dude, that kind of like killed all the momentum that I felt we had built in the offseason. And to do that right before the start of the season is crazy. So I've never been a big Cat believer. Just in terms of winning basketball. Obviously, you can't take the skill away from him, right? He made an all-star team, and I'm like, okay, yeah, from a numbers perspective, Cat is on a tear this year. He
fails the eye test.
He fails the eye test, though. There are certain players that just have stats, right? Mm-hmm. And that's it. You know, and I don't know why I just went off on this tangent mentally, but Carmelo Anthony was wholeheartedly, as a Knicks fan, one of those players to me. He was numbers. And he did not pass the eye test of winning basketball games. And that's the same way that I feel about Cat. I do not feel confident in our team without Brunson right now. And there were so many things, just to go back on the Lakers game, just to show what has been issues this season. There's so many things that you could point to. Mm-hmm. And another big thing for me was in regulation. We could have avoided Brunson's injury altogether. This could have been a game that got ended in regulation with 9 seconds left.
Oh, yeah.
In the fourth quarter.
Oh, yeah.
All the time in the world to operate in a half-court offense. And we don't even get a shot off.
Yeah.
We don't even get a shot off with 9 seconds left in a fourth quarter. What play as a coach did you draw up to get no shot off?
He did not draw up a play.
There was no play.
Yeah, he didn't draw up
There was no play.
Yeah.
He said, give the ball to Brunson.
Yeah. There was
no play drawn at all. So you got to look at Tom Thibodeau with this team. You do. You just do. So, yeah, man, I don't feel confident without Jalen Brunson. I really feel like at this point in time, Jalen Brunson might be the team. Jalen Brunson and Josh Hart.
I was going to say, you got
Jalen Brunson and Josh Hart might be the team right now.
Yeah.
And then if JB goes out and all we have is Josh Hart.
Josh Hart to score 50.
If Josh Hart is the team, that is crazy. That is crazy, and I do not have faith in this team, and I'll just go out on a limb and say that. And then to just piggyback off of that, I say next year, if we're in the same boat, you got to do something.
Yeah.
You got to do something, whether it's, I mean, obviously, the issue to me would be find a way to get rid of Cat, right? Yeah. I know that a lot of people are like, come on, Cat, you know, no, Cat is not a player that is going to win for you. He is a player that will put up good numbers, and I don't think he's much more than that.
Would you rather, as a Knicks fan, would you rather get rid of Cat or get rid of Tom Thibodeau? You can only take one.
Ooh. That's so tough.
Who'd you get rid of?
You know what's crazy? I'm actually really happy that you just asked me that, because I actually think I think I'd get rid of Tibbs first.
Yeah.
I think I'd get rid of Tibbs first, because there might be that slight inkling that maybe if we make a coaching change, that can bring something different out of Cat. Or at least
Cat was a good system player.
Yeah.
I think he could be a really good system player.
Or at the very least, we can find a coach that will actually hide Cat's weaknesses, right?
Yeah.
Because Cat has been terrible on the defensive side of the ball this year. Pretty much every year that I've watched him.
Yeah.
Okay? So if we could find a coach that can hide those flaws, I think that might be all we need. Tom Thibodeau might be the issue with this team. Genuinely. Yeah.
On a different note, every time I think that I have solidified SGA as my MVP, I believe he deserves it. I think he's playing on a great team. Well, they are a great team. He's playing fantastically himself. And every time I finally start to close the lid on that thought, Nikola Jokic comes out and does something ridiculous. Something ridiculous like 31, 22, and 21. against the Suns in OT. He's the first player ever to score 30, 20, and 20 in NBA history. He also just like completely disregarded the interview afterwards. Like he's like, yeah, I just did what we need to win, and it's um, Jokic, man, is Jokic your MVP? Is he still SGA? Are they going back and forth?
He's different, man. Jokic is just a different animal because it's just like he'll do that, and he'll just like it's just another day in the office. You know what I mean? And I mean, I guess SGA is really that way too.
But I feel like SGA kind of likes it more. You know,
Yeah.
I feel like he's a hooper.
Yeah, and so he likes it. Jokic is real life. Like I just did what we had to win. I'm about to go home and gamble on some horses.
Yeah, like
You
Jokic
know?
is going to work.
Yeah.
Like we work normal jobs.
Mhm.
I'm never excited on Monday when I gotta go to work. That's how Jokic feels.
Yeah.
Like every time he does something crazy, it's like, wow, you just did this. You're the first player to do this, and he's like, yeah, I mean, all right,
Yeah.
And it's like, and I think maybe that's why I don't want him to win MVP. Partially just because I'm not taking anything away from SGA. SGA is a great player and he deserves it, but I don't want to see him win another MVP knowing he really doesn't care.
Yeah.
Like, you remember when KD won MVP and he's like crying up there? You know what I mean? Like, Giannis is excited. Everyone else is excited to get MVP, and Jokic is just like, okay. And it's like, dog, like, do you know what you just did? Like, yeah, that, like, something about his demeanor, I think, is what throws me off of Jokic.
Mm-hmm.
But he does consistently in caps, just do crazy stuff, man. Like, I don't know. 31, 22, and 21 is something I've done in 2K on Pro with 12-minute quarters.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's
with sliders all the way out, dog.
Like, come on, dog. Like, I'm not seeing people do that in normal basketball games. And to do it against the Suns too. So to do it against like Durant, to do it against Booker, to do it against a little bit of competition is great.
Mm-hmm.
And on a note of I saw you get a little heated over there about the Knicks. On a note of people getting heated, LeBron James again went and confronted Stephen A about his comments at the Lakers-Knicks game. Actually, he actually left the huddle. He left the Lakers huddle to go and confront Stephen A. Basically about telling him like, "Hey, that's my son. Lay off."
Mm-hmm.
Those aren't the words he used, but you know, as a dad yourself, what's your take on that? Do you think LeBron did the right thing?
Yeah. Okay. So there's a lot of different things to look at here, man. But at the end of the day, I feel like it's like a much ado about nothing. There's nothing really to see here. I think it was a dad being a dad and an analyst being an analyst, and I think that they're both right. I think that from LeBron's standpoint, as a dad, you have to defend your son, right? Like you got to, like that's your job as a dad, essentially. But like from Stephen A's perspective, he also has to report. Mm-hmm. So it's like, is there anybody right in this situation? I think they're both just doing their job, and albeit like, I think it really comes down to just who wants it more, I guess. So like who
like that feeling?
Yeah. So like Stephen A, do you want to continue to say what you gotta say, or do you want to default and respect a father's wishes? Mm-hmm. And it's like, I think Stephen A, because he's just a solid dude, it seems like, with players, I think he's gonna just respect what LeBron said to him.
He did say he apologized.
Yeah.
And something else.
So yeah, I think at the end of the day, LeBron is gonna walk away with doing the right thing in this situation because, Stephen A is just gonna, respect that. But no, I don't think that anybody was wrong in that situation. I mean, Stephen A is just saying what a lot of people are thinking from an analyst perspective. I just know because I mean, for me on the outside looking in, I'm not a Lakers fan. I'm not, I don't really know a whole lot, about how Lakers fans feel. But for me, watching Bronny be reported on in the summer league over Dalton Connect was crazy.
Yeah.
Okay.
I agree.
I don't know why I'm seeing more Bronny highlights and more Bronny stat lines scrolling across my screen than Dalton
Every
Connect.
time he does anything.
Yes, anytime he does anything. So from that perspective, for me, I'm just like, come on, man. Like, we're not giving credit. We're not giving the right credit to where it's due. I feel like that's something where you throw it in there, right?
Yeah.
That's like a throw it in kind of thing. Oh, and Bronny did this, but for it to be like Bronny, and Dalton Connect. That is wild. Yeah. That is wild to me, and I think that kind of momentum is the reason why Dalton Connect isn't getting a fair shake of minutes in the NBA. I do think so. I don't think he's getting a fair shake. I think that there are times. I think there are situational moments where we're watching the Lakers and Knicks game, right? Where it's like we could. You had told me we could use Connect right now, and Connect was not being put in the game. And he was doing some things for you, man. Hit that big shot, buzzer beater, okay?
Dalton Connect single-handedly sparked that.
Yes, that run. Yeah, and to not honor that to me was crazy. So
he did get some minutes after that.
Okay,
we played him for a fair amount of time.
Yeah, man. But I don't know. It's just like, to me, it feels like Bronny really killed the momentum that Dalton could have created coming into the season.
Yes. Because
he was stealing the spotlight. Yes. He was stealing the shine and the credit. So I get why Stephen A was saying the things that he was saying as an analyst. But as a father, I also understand what LeBron had to say about his son. So
I think as far as the Connect Bronny thing, I do remember in Summer League where Dalton Connect had scored was it 20 or did he give for 30? It was something. He had a really good game in Summer League, and I think Bronny had 8. And everyone, it was Bleacher Report, ESPN, Bronny James, 8 point, Bronny James with a mid-range pull-up, and I'm like, Connect has 32, what's going on? And I do completely agree with you that I feel like had Bronny not been drafted to the Lakers, or just not drafted this year, the Laker fandom would love Dalton Connect a lot more than they do. Mm-hmm. I think that we like Dalton Connect. I think we appreciate Dalton Connect. But I feel like only certain fans actually have that love for Dalton Connect. I mean, I remember texting you during the Mark Williams trade, and I was like, we need a big, and that's cool, and he's young, but I want Connect. Connect had so much more of an upside, and Connect's going to be great for our team long term. As far as Stephen A. and LeBron, I got to disagree with you. I think that LeBron's in the wrong.
Okay.
So I understand as a dad, it is your job to protect your son. I get that. However, LeBron has been here before. LeBron has been younger than Bronny in the league. LeBron has been criticized his entire career. You know what you're opening your son up to. You knew that getting him there, what he was going to have to endure. So, for me, I think he should have either let him endure that, or he should have had Bronny go confront Stephen A. He should have either been like, hey, I get they're talking about you. I get this might make you feel some type of way, X, Y, Z. But we need you to either put up or shut up.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Are these things that they're saying about you true? Let's look at the record. Yeah, you're doing great in the G League. What are you doing in the league? Do you really deserve to be here? These are questions that you really have to ask him. And if he really feels some type of way about it, Bronny, they're all on the same bench.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Stephen A's in the same spot. Bron could have been like, hey, go over there and talk to him. Go over there and confront him. Go over there and be like, hey, I heard you had something to say. And I think that would have been a good moment for Bronny to gain that respect. Because I think right now he doesn't have any. All his respect is from his dad. And so even at that standpoint, it's like, oh yeah, well, your dad went to stick up for you.
Yeah.
You know? And it's like, go over there, be a man. You're in the league, you got your own money, be a man, go over to Stephen A and talk to Stephen A.
Yeah.
And so that's where I feel like Bron took the wrong route in that. I do see it though. You know, if this was high school, yeah, go over and talk to him. I understand that. But once you get to the NBA, and especially being LeBron James, having already went through it yourself, once you get to the NBA, you got to be your own man at a certain point. Now, if Stephen A just like goes and like rips him a new one for going, then you can kind of be like, all right, chill out, you know. But like at first start, I mean, has Bronny talked to him? Has Bronny actually ever confronted anybody about anything they're saying? No, it's always LeBron. People are always saying whatever about Bronny, and then it comes back to, oh, well, LeBron, what do you think about what they said about Bronny? No one's ever going, Bronny, what are you thinking about what Stephen A said about you? He has to be his own man at a certain point.
Yeah.
And LeBron's always not going to be there to protect him.
Yeah.
And so I think that LeBron should have used that opportunity to go, hey, I'm not going to protect you forever. You have to go and be a man at a certain point.
Yeah. So I got the top 5 answers of the board for all-time playoff wins by team.
Okay, by team.
Yeah.
Top 5. Lakers.
Lakers are number 1 with 467.
Celtics.
Celtics number 2.
Give me the Spurs.
The Spurs are number 4.
1, 2, 4. All time. The Rockets.
The Rockets are not.
Oh yeah. These are all current teams. Or
Yes.
these are,
Yeah.
okay,
These
okay.
are all. Yeah.
Wow. Knicks.
The Knicks are not on the
Oh
list.
my god. Okay. 2 strikes. Sixers?
Sixers are on the list. They're
Nice.
number 3. Yep.
Okay, Sixers number 3. I just need number 5. Can I get a hint?
I'm trying to think of a hint that's not going to
What
give
what
you
conference are they in?
Western Conference.
Western Conference. Jeez. Jeez. I already said the Rockets, didn't I?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I'm trying to think of like all-time great teams.
There's a very specific all-time great team that is in recent memory.
Is it the Warriors?
It is the Warriors.
Oh wow!
Golden
Okay,
State
I
Warriors.
thought of them earlier, but I didn't think that
the
was
Golden
going to be
State
it.
Warriors are number 5.
Nice.
Yep.
Top 5 answers on the board. I need you to name the last 5 number 1 picks via NBA.com.
Okay. NBA picks, meaning draft picks?
Yep.
Number 1 draft picks?
Number 1 draft picks.
Okay. So, wow. Okay. This is one of those questions where, like, you know that you know, but you just feel, like, put on the spot. Let's see. So, this year, it was... Oh. This year, it was Zachary Risachet.
Yep. 2024.
Okay. The year prior, it was... Oof.
Oh yeah, someone is screaming at their laptop
Yeah.
right now.
Oh, 100%. Oh my God. Wow. Okay. I know Zion, right? Was it, or is that outside of the top 5?
Zion was not
The last
in the
5?
last 5.
Oh, wow. Yeah, that's been a minute, man. Okay. So that's 1 strike. Dude, this is crazy. This is so crazy.
When I tell you this list, you're gonna smack yourself in the head.
Yes. This is so crazy. Okay. Okay, Anthony Edwards.
Anthony Edwards, 2020.
Okay.
So you got 24 and 2020.
Okay. Okay. Sheesh.
These are three pretty good players. Two of them all-stars this year.
Okay, Victor Wembanyama.
Victor
I'm tripping.
Wembanyama,
I'm tripping. You see?
2023.
You see? I'm tripping. Okay. Dog.
You need 22 and 21.
22 and 21. Okay. Dog. Cade Cunningham.
Cade Cunningham, 2021. You need 2023. You can do it.
2023. This was just last year, right? Yeah. Right? Yeah. No,
Or,
24.
sorry, you need 22.
22.
You need 22.
Okay.
I apologize.
It's all good. 22.
He plays for a city that LeBron said he'd never go to.
Man, I don't even. Yeah. What conference? Can I get that?
Eastern Conference.
Eastern Conference. Number 1 pick. Eastern Conference number 1 pick. Oh my God, bro. 2022. Why am I blanking so hard? Like, I feel like I know this. I have to.
I think you do.
Okay. Bruh,
There's someone screaming right now. Someone's head is about to explode.
Yeah. Yeah, bro. I concede. I don't think I know.
Paolo Banchero.
Yeah, I would have never. I'm gonna be straight up. I would have never got that.
LeBron said he would retire rather than go to Orlando.
Yeah, that's crazy. Yeah, Banchero. I always forget he was number 1. Yeah. Shout out Banchero, man. That's crazy. All right, well, that's our episode. Thank you all for watching. If you do appreciate this video, go ahead and like, comment, and subscribe. And we will see you in the next one.
Peace.
Peace.